A very good afternoon to you and many thanks for joining us. You are watching the midday news coming to you live on Politics and Business Television Abuja. I am Felicia Michael Duncan. The headlines: Detained officers' wives beg Tinubu for access to their husbands. Shettima promises tough response to Northeast terror attacks. Kwara orders statewide anti-snake fumigation. And on the foreign scene, Russian strike on Kharkiv apartment block kills 7. Details of the stories after the break. Prominent human rights activist Omoyele Sowore and lawyer activist Deji Adeyanju, alongside the wives of detained Nigerian military officers accused of plotting a coup, have appealed to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to ensure that proper legal procedures are followed in handling their cases involving their husbands. The appeal comes amidst growing concern over the continued detention of at least 16 senior officers alleged to have been involved in a plot to overthrow the Tinubu administration. Our reporter, Omike Joseph Matthew, has the details.
The group, mostly women, gathered in the Federal Capital Territory on Friday, appealing and also urging the president to intervene with military authorities. During a briefing, the wife, flanked by Sowore and Adeyanju, insisted they seek not special treatment, but justice, transparency, and an end to what they called a trial by media. They highlighted inconsistency in the allegations and the agony of unanswered questions for their families. The detained officers are slated to face a military judicial panel or court-martial for formal proceedings. The families said the prolonged detention has left them struggling with unanswered questions, while their husbands and fathers are subjected to what they described as trial by media.
Respectful appeal to our leaders. We speak today with no anger, but with heavy hearts of wives and children and mothers. We appeal to Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a father and a grandfather, to Her Excellency the First Lady Oluremi Tinubu, a mother, grandmother, and a revered pastor, as leaders of the nation at this moment in time, to please look upon our situation with compassion, wisdom, courage, and justice. We respectfully beseech to examine and be receptive to all the facts of this highly sensitive case with an open mind, please. We are not asking for favors or shortcuts. We are asking for our constitutional rights, the truth, and the safe return of our dear husbands. If there is evidence, bring them before court of law. If there is none, let them go free, please. We appeal to the president to do what is just, allow the truth to be seen. We also appeal to the Nigerian military to remember its oath and its humanity. History and prosperity will remember the decision taken at this moment. Thank you. May God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Human rights activist Omoyele Sowore said that allegations of an attempted coup do not automatically mean the officers are guilty. He stressed that those in detention should be granted access to their families and legal representatives while the matter is being addressed.
An allegation of a coup plot does not translate to guilt. That's our position. And we have done this in the past, and we are very sure that a transparent and open trial might reveal otherwise. And that is why the government of Bola Tinubu should not be afraid to make this open to all. So we are giving them an ultimatum to let these individuals that have been arrested, 120 of them, be allowed to visit with their families, allowed to see their lawyers, and be presented for trial if there are genuine allegations against them.
Also, human rights lawyer Deji Adejuju also urged military authorities to charge the detained officers in court if there is credible evidence against them, instead of holding them for an extended period without trial.
We are saying that nobody is defending anybody. We are saying that where there is no genuine evidence, if there is coup, present them before a court of law. Lead evidence. Evidence is like smoke. It cannot be hidden. Lead evidence against them. But if there is no evidence, leave these people alone. Release them. Let them go and face their lives.
Recall that on October 4, 2025, the former Director of Defense Information Tukur Gusau announced that 16 military officers had been arrested for violating military rules and engaging in acts of indiscipline. An interim investigation later revealed that a secret group of officers, allegedly led by an army colonel, had started early preparations for a possible coup attempt. The report stated that the suspected plot involved secretly monitoring key national locations, including the Presidential Villa, the Armed Forces Complex, Niger Barracks in Abuja, a major international airport. Investigators also alleged that the planned takeover, scheduled for October 25, 2025, was aimed at removing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima from power. For P&B Television, I am Omike Joseph Matthew reporting.
Vice President Kashim Shettima has vowed that the federal government will end insurgency in the Northeast with decisive and overwhelming force. His remarks followed recent attacks in Borno State that led to casualties among security personnel and civilians. In a statement on Saturday by his senior special assistant on media and communications, Stanley Nwocha, Shettima said the government would not be intimidated by the attacks, which included abductions in Ngoshi and coordinated assaults on military formations. He added that authorities are deploying additional tactical assets and intelligence-driven reinforcements to affected areas. The vice president also revealed that Bola Ahmed Tinubu had been briefed on this situation and had directed the swift and total mobilization of the country's security architecture. Shettima assured citizens that those responsible for the attacks would face the full wrath of the law and promised that the administration would not rest until abductors' victims are safely reunited with their families. The special advisor to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on policy communication, Daniel Bwala, has denied corruption claims while defending the administration's economic reforms. Bwala made the remarks during an interview with Mehdi Hassan of Al Jazeera Media Network, who challenged him over Tinubu's widely criticized statement suggesting that corruption had been eliminated in Nigeria. Responding to the question, Bwala insisted that the government remains committed to fighting corruption, saying the administration investigates and prosecutes corruption cases whenever they arise. He maintained that Tinubu's reforms are aimed at improving transparency and strengthening the country's economic system. The exchange became more heated when Hassan raised concerns about Tinubu's appointment of Abubakar Bagudu as Minister of Budget and Economic Planning. Hassan cited allegations connected to former military ruler Sani Abacha, noting that the United States Department of Justice had previously accused Bagudu and others of involvement in the misappropriation of billions of dollars during the Abacha era. Bwala, however, argued that Nigeria is a sovereign country and that rulings or allegations from foreign courts do not bind Nigeria's judicial system. To the environmental matters. The Kwara state government has directed an immediate statewide anti-snake fumigation exercise across residential buildings, institutions, and other regulated premises as part of measures to safeguard residents from the growing threat of snake attacks. The directive was issued through the Kwara State Environmental Protection Agency on Saturday, following reports of increasing snake bite incidents recorded in parts of the state. A statement issued by the press secretary of the agency, Aliyu Amode, said all property owners and operators of regulated premises are expected to comply with the directive without delay. The general manager of the agency, Jide Aina, said the decision was taken as a preventive public safety measure to reduce the presence of snakes around the homes, schools, offices, and other facilities across Kwara. Aina stressed that environmental safety practices must be strengthened in order to protect lives and ensure a healthier living environment for residents across the state. You are still watching news analysis right here on Politics and Business Television, Abuja. Welcome back. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar on Friday condemned the attack on the African Democratic Congress ADC office in Ubima, Ikwere local government area of Rivers State, describing it as a dangerous development that threatens democratic norms in Nigeria. In a statement shared on his X platform, Atiku said the assault on the ADC Secretariat and its members goes beyond political rivalry, framing it as an assault on our democracy. He urged the Tinubu-led All Progressive Congress administration to prioritize the protection of opposition lives and properties, noting that as the minimum expectation of Nigerians, Atiku called for an independent investigation into the incident to ensure that perpetrators are prosecuted in accordance with the law, warning that failure to act could embolden further attacks on opposition parties. He also referenced a separate unresolved attack on ADC leaders, including Mr. Peter Obi in Benin, Edo State, stressing that the outcome of that investigation is still awaited. To the business news. Crude oil prices surged to a two-year high of above $90 per barrel on Saturday after Qatar's energy minister warned he expects all oil and gas exporters in the Middle East to stop production within these few days. A check on oil prices as of Saturday morning showed that Brent crude rose to approximately $93 per barrel, while West Texas Intermediate stood at $91 per barrel. This means that Brent rose by 9%, the highest level since autumn 2023. According to Financial Qatar's energy minister, Saad Al-Kabe, said the conflict in the Middle East could bring down the economies of the world and raised crude oil prices to around $150 per barrel. And now to the foreign news. At least 7 people, including children, have been killed and several others injured after a Russian airstrike hit an apartment block in Kharkiv, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has said. And Regional Governor Oleg Snigubov said the missile damaged a 5-story residential building on Saturday morning. He added that rescue workers are clearing up debris. The latest overnight attacks triggered air alerts across Ukraine. Russia's defense ministry confirmed it used drones to carry out strikes on Ukraine targets, adding its forces struck Ukraine military compounds, airfields, and energy facilities, the Interfax news agency said. And separately, the Polish Air Force said it had scrambled military jets to protect its airspace in regions bordering Ukraine, as it usually does in the event of large-scale Russian strikes. And with that, we wrap up today's program, but before we go, the headlines again. Detained officers' wives beg Tinubu for access to their husbands. Shettima promises tough response to Northeast terror attacks. Kwara orders statewide anti-snake fumigation. And on the foreign scene, we heard that Russian strike on Kharkiv apartment block kills 7. For more updates and in-depth analysis, follow Politics and Business TV.English on YouTube and Facebook, and connect with us on Instagram at PNBTV_English and TikTok at PNBTV_ENG. Remember to subscribe and stay informed.